The rope snapped like a gunshot in the howling wind, yanking Elijah's body over the sheer drop where the mountain met nothing but sky. Aiden's scream tore through the storm. "Elijah, no!" As his fingers clawed at the slick rock, inches from the void that had just swallowed his best friend's life in a heartbeat. But in that frozen instant, before the fall, Elijah's eyes locked on Aiden's, whispering a truth neither could outrun. "I love you, you idiot, and it's killing me." I never thought a weekend in the Rockies would unravel everything. Aiden and I had been thick as thieves since freshman year at CU Boulder. Him the golden boy quarterback with that easy grin that lit up frat parties. Me the brooding art major sketching his profile in secret notebooks. We called it our bro reset, ditching Denver's grind for pine-scented trails, cheap whiskey by the fire, and bullshit stories about girls we'd never quite chased. Straight as an arrow, Aiden was. Girls hung off him like ornaments on a Christmas tree. But to me, he was the sun, pulling me into orbit without a clue. This trip was supposed to be simple. 2 days up Maroon Bells, camping under the stars, pretending the world wasn't closing in on us both. We'd loaded up my beat-up Subaru at dawn, the kind of crisp October morning where the aspens blazed gold against the jagged peaks. Aiden tossed his duffel in the back, all broad shoulders and faded Broncos tee, laughing as he cranked the radio to some Springsteen track about Thunder Roads. "Man, Eli, you look like you haven't slept in a week. What's eating you?" His blue eyes flicked over, casual, but they always saw too much. I shrugged it off, gripping the wheel tighter. Truth was, I'd been dodging his texts for days, buried in my studio, painting feverish abstracts of hands. His hands, reaching through shadows. The kind of shit that would have gotten me disowned twice over back home in Ohio, if my folks hadn't already washed their hands of the phase they prayed I'd outgrow. The drive wound us up Highway 82, past aspens shedding leaves like confetti, the air thickening with that high-altitude bite. We bullshitted about everything and nothing. His latest almost breakup with that sorority girl, Sarah, who wanted rings and picket fences. My stalled gallery show, the one where critics called my work raw but unfocused. Code for too queer for the mainstream. Aiden clapped my shoulder at a stoplight, his touch lingering a beat too long. "You're a goddamn genius, Eli. Don't let those suits in lofts tell you different." Heat flushed my neck, and I blamed the altitude. By noon, we hit the trailhead, boots crunching gravel as we shouldered packs heavy with tents, freeze-dried meals, and that fifth of bourbon Aiden swore was medicinal. The bells loomed ahead, twin spires of maroon shale stabbing the sky, their reflection shattered in maroon lake like a promise of something unbroken. We hiked in sync, the rhythm of it familiar, his long strides forcing me to push, my steady pace keeping him from barreling ahead like he always did. Sweat beaded on his forehead under that backward Rockies cap, and when he stripped off his shirt at the first switchback, revealing the tattooed script across his ribs, "No regrets." I had to look away, pretending to adjust my laces. It was a memento from his wild high school days, inked after his dad bailed on the family for some Vegas showgirl. Aiden never talked about it, but I knew it like my own scars. Camp was a flat scrape above the lake, ringed by boulders that blocked the wind. We pitched the tent in under an hour, Aiden hammering stakes with that effortless strength, muscles flexing under the late sun. "Remember that time in the Flatirons?" he said, wiping his brow. "You tripped on that root, ate shit right into a creek. I had to carry your sorry ass 2 miles. I laughed, the sound rusty, and chucked a pine cone at him. "Yeah, and you dropped me twice, you brute." Our eyes met, and for a split second, the air hummed charged, like before a storm. Then he turned away, firing up the camp stove for ramen that tasted like home. Night fell fast, stars punching through the ink-black sky like bullet holes. We passed the bourbon, stories flowing freer with each pull. Aiden leaned back on his elbows, firelight dancing on his face, talking about his mom back in Golden. How the chemo bills were piling up, how he was coaching peewee football to scrape extra cash. "I just want her to see me settled, you know? Like with a family. The real deal." His voice cracked on the last word, and my chest tightened. Settled. With her. Not us, not this fragile bubble we'd built. I nodded, throat burning, and muttered something about how he'd make a hell of a dad someday. Lies, all of it, because what I wanted to say was, stay here, with me. Screw the script. The fire died to embers, and we crawled into the tent, zippers whispering in the dark. Sleeping bags side by side, the space between us a chasm and a magnet. I lay there, hyper-aware of his breathing deep, even so close I could smell the pine and smoke on his skin. Hours ticked by, my mind a carousel of what-ifs. What if I rolled over, bridged that gap? What if his straight-laced world shattered under my touch? Dawn crept in gray, and when he stirred, murmuring my name in sleep, Eli, I bolted upright, heart slamming like a trapped animal. Day 2 dawned sharper, frost rhyming the tent fly. We broke camp quick, Aiden buzzing with that post-bourbon energy, plotting a scramble up the east ridge for the view. Trust me, it's worth the burn, he said, slinging his pack. I followed, the trail steepening into scree fields where loose rocks skittered underfoot. Altitude clawed at my lungs, but Aiden's laugh pulled me up, easy, infectious, the sound that had hooked me years ago at that dive bar off Pearl Street, where he'd bought me a beer and called me brother, like it was a vow. Halfway up, we hit the crux. A Class 4 scramble, exposed ledge hugging the cliff face, drop-offs that made your balls shrink. Aiden went first, belaying me with a spare rope we'd packed for kicks. Easy, Eli. Foot here, hand there. I've got you. His voice was steady, but when I slipped on a wet patch, moss from last night's drizzle, panic flashed in his eyes. The rope bit into his harness, holding me inches from the edge. We froze, breath sinking, his grip iron on the line. You're good, he panted, hauling me up. Our hands brushed as I crested, and electricity shot through me, raw, unfiltered. He didn't pull away fast enough. We summit breathless, the world unspooling below. Crater Lake a sapphire scar, the bell's shadows pooling like ink. Aiden hooped, stripping to his waist again, sweat glistening on his chest. We shared a protein bar, legs dangling over the abyss, the silence companionable until it wasn't. You ever think about it? He asked suddenly, eyes on the horizon. Us, like, if things were different. My blood roared in my ears. Different how? I croaked. What do you mean? He shrugged, too casual. Nah, forget it. Just, life's short up here. Makes you philosophical. The descent started fine, but clouds boiled over the divide, swallowing the sun. Wind whipped up, carrying the metallic tang of rain. We pushed for the treeline, but the storm hit like a freight train. Sheets of water, hail pinging off rocks. Visibility dropped to arm's length, and that's when it happened. The gully we were traversing turned to a torrent, mudslide churning below. Aiden yelled over the gale, pointing to a bypass ledge. This way! Rope up! But the rock was glazed ice slick, granite unforgiving. I clipped in first, inching along, heart in my throat. Aiden fed line behind, his voice my anchor. Then a crack, sharp, final, as the ledge calved under my boot. The world tilted, rope singing taut, my body swinging into freefall. Time stretched, wind roaring, Aiden's roar louder. Hold on, Elijah! And in that suspended agony, our eyes met across the gulf. Not fear, not fully. Something deeper, a confession stripped bare by the brink. I love you. The words formed on my lips, silent, but he saw them. I knew he did. He braced against a boulder, veins bulging in his neck, pulling with everything. But the anchor slipped, a loose chalkstone giving way, and suddenly we were both sliding, rope burning palms, the drop yawning hungry. Aiden lunged, grabbing my harness carabiner with bare hands, our bodies slamming together against the wall. Rain blinded us, but his face was inches from mine. Fierce, terrified, alive. Don't you fucking let go, he growled. And then, impossible, his lips crashed into mine. Not gentle, desperate. A kiss born of survival, tasting of salt and storm and years unspoken. We hauled back, trembling, the ledge holding by grace. The storm broke as quick as it came, sun-piercing clouds like a benediction. But nothing was the same. We collapsed in the pines below, packs discarded, breaths ragged. Aiden's hand found mine, not pulling away this time. Eli, that wasn't. I mean, his voice broke, eyes searching mine. Blue as the lake, stormy now. I waited, chest hollow. Betrayal? Rejection? Or the truth we'd both dodged? He exhaled, running a hand through soaked hair. Sarah's pregnant. The words landed like a gut punch. Found out last week. That's why I was weird. We're keeping it. Getting married in the spring. My world fractured, the kiss, the pull, all ash. He'd known. Carried it up the mountain like a secret blade. Why didn't you say? I whispered, voice cracking. Because I didn't want to lose this. Us. He gestured vaguely, but his eyes said it. The almosts, the maybes we danced around. Rage boiled up, hot and human. Lose us? You straight washed it all, Aiden. The looks, the touches, the fucking kiss up there. Was that pity? Or just the adrenaline? He flinched but didn't deny. It wasn't pity. God, Eli, you think I don't feel it? Every damn day, watching you sketch, hearing you laugh. It's like fire under my skin. But I'm not. I can't be what you need. Not with the baby. The life everyone's counting on. Tears mixed with rain on his face. And mine. Betrayal, yes, but his too. Trapped in a role he hated, scripted by blood and bone. We hiked out in silence. The trail a blur of gold and gray. At the car, he stopped me, hand on my arm. Gentle now, aching. You're my best friend. Always. This doesn't change that. But it did. Everything did. I drove us down, radio silent. The bells shrinking in the rearview like a dream half remembered. Back in Denver, he hugged me goodbye at my door. Fierce, lingering, and whispered, "Take care of yourself, okay?" I nodded, throat too tight for words. Weeks blurred. My paintings turned visceral, canvases slashed with reds and blacks, galleries buzzing but my heart a void. Aiden's wedding invite came, crisp cardstock, Sarah's script all curls and joy. I tossed it, but went anyway, standing in the back of that Boulder chapel, watching him vow forever to her. He caught my eye across the pews, a flicker of regret, but the ring slid on smooth as fate. Months later, the baby came. A boy, photos flooding my feed. Aiden cradling him, exhausted grin wide. I liked them all, thumbs hovering over comments I never sent. One night, buzzed on cheap Merlot in my loft, I texted, "He looks like you. Proud?" His reply came instant. Terrified. Miss our resets. I stared at the screen, fingers tracing the scar from that rope burn. Me too. Life bent, didn't break. I sold a series, Edge of Fall. Critics calling it my breakthrough. Raw humanity in every stroke. Aiden's texts trickled. Playdates, first steps, the quiet admissions of a man remaking himself. He left Sarah after the second kid. Not for me, but for air. Custody battles, therapy couches. A divorce that left him hollow but honest. I was running from it all. He confessed over coffee one gray afternoon, our first real talk in years. From you, mostly. Scared shitless of what it meant. I didn't kiss him then. Didn't need to. We rebuilt slow. Hikes in the foothills, no ropes, just steps side by side. The tension lingered, a low hum, but softer now. Romance not in grand gestures, but in the space we gave each other to breathe. One evening, atop a mesa outside town, sunset bleeding orange over the plains, he took my hand. No storm, no edge, just us. "If you'd still have me," he said, voice steady. "I'd like to try." I squeezed back, the weight lifting. Not perfect, human. And in America's wide-open heart, that was enough. The coffee shop on Pearl Street hummed with the post-rush lull. Baristas wiping counters. The scent of roasted beans mingling with autumn leaves skittering outside. Aiden slid into the booth across from me. 6 months after the wedding I'd ghosted in my mind 1,000 times. He looked different. Softer around the edges. The quarterback bulk tempered by fatherhood. Dark circles under those blue eyes that spoke of sleepless nights and unspoken wars. "Eli," he started, voice low, like we were conspirators again. Thanks for meeting. I know it's been. Radio silence. I stirred my black coffee, the spoon clinking like a countdown. Radio silence? Try a chasm wider than the one we'd stared into on that ridge. After the mountain, after his confession in the pines, Sarah's pregnant. I'd built walls higher than the divide. Texts went unanswered. Calls dodged with excuses about deadlines. My loft became a bunker. Canvases stacked like barricades, each one a scream of betrayal rendered in oils. Twisted ropes, fractured skies, hands forever reaching but never clasping. Yeah, I said finally, meeting his gaze. It has. He leaned forward, elbows on the scarred oak table, fingers lacing like he was praying for absolution. The tattoo peeked from his Henley sleeve. No regrets. Mocking us both. The baby's here. Owen. 8 pounds, 2 ounces. Cries like a banshee. But, God, Eli, when I hold him, it's like the world's righted itself. His smile cracked, genuine but frayed, and something in me twisted. Jealousy? Relief? The kid was innocent, a tiny anchor in his storm-tossed life. I forced a nod. Congrats, man. You deserve that. Deserve. The word hung bitter. Did he deserve the white picket trap he'd bolted himself into? The vows he'd taken while I nursed rope burns and a heart flayed open? Aiden's eyes dropped to his untouched latte, foam swirling like the chaos in my gut. It's not right, though. None of it. Sarah's great. Patient, you know? But every night, staring at the ceiling with Owen between us, I think about that ledge. About pulling you back. About. He trailed off, jaw tightening. The kiss. Unspoken but electric, crackling between us like static before lightning. I swallowed hard, the memory flooding back. Rain lashed granite, his body slamming into mine, lips fierce and unyielding. Adrenaline, he'd called it later, in that broken apology by the car. But I'd tasted the truth, the hunger he'd buried under layers of straight guy armor, the what-if that mirrored my own. About what, Aiden? Say it. My voice came sharper than intended, drawing a glance from the hipster at the next table. He winced but held steady. About wanting more. With you. Before the lines got drawn. The admission landed soft as a grenade. More. In all our years, dorm room crashes, road trips to Moab, that one boozy Halloween where he draped an arm over my shoulders and whispered, "You're the only one who gets me." I chased shadows of it. Sketched him in moonlight, pulse racing. Laughed off the heat when our knees brushed under bar tables. But he'd always pulled back, orbiting girls like Sarah, the safe harbors. Now, with a ring on his finger and a son in his arms, he cracked the door. Too late for philosophy, I muttered, signaling the barista for the check. You've got a family now. Play the part. He reached across, hand hovering over mine. Close enough to feel the warmth, far enough to sting. I'm trying, Eli, but it's killing me. Mom's asking when we're giving Owen a sibling. Dad's mailing Bible verses about man and wife. And me? I'm dreaming of mountains and you. His voice dropped to a rasp, eyes pleading. Vulnerability looked good on him. Stripped the cocky quarterback sheen, left the man raw. Part of me wanted to bolt. The rest to bridge the gap and dam the fallout. We walked out into the crisp bite of a Boulder afternoon. Leaves crunching under boots like brittle bones. Pearl Street Mall buzzed. Street performers juggling fire. Tourists snapping pics of the Flatirons. But we moved like ghosts, shoulders brushing accidental on purpose. Come see him, Aiden said suddenly, stopping by a bench strung with fairy lights. Owen, just once. For old times. I hesitated, the invite a hook in my chest. See the life he'd chosen, the proof of my sidelining? But curiosity or masochism won. Fine, but quick. His place was a Craftsman rental on the hill, steps from campus, cozy chaos of baby gear and half-unpacked boxes. Sarah answered the door, all warm smile and yoga pants, cradling Owen like a talisman. Elijah, Aiden's told me so much. Her hug was genuine, eyes crinkling with that effortless grace, and guilt stabbed me. She was the villain in my head, but up close, solid, real. He's out back, changing a diaper apocalypse. She laughed, handing me the baby. Soft weight, tiny fists waving like flags of surrender. Owen's eyes, blue like his dad's, locked on mine, and something shifted. Not love, not yet, but recognition. The fragility of new life, unscarred by the messes we'd make. Aiden appeared then, hair tousled, shirt askew, scooping the kid with practiced ease. Hey buddy, meet your Uncle Eli, the guy who keeps your old man honest. We sat on the porch swing, October sun slanting gold, Owen gurgling between us. Aiden's knee pressed mine, deliberate now, and the tension coiled, romantic, reckless, laced with the ache of what couldn't be. That night, alone in my loft, I uncorked the Merlot and pulled out the sketch pad. Not abstracts this time, his face, Owen's tiny hand on his chest. Human, flawed. The betrayal lingered, a bruise, but so did the pull. Days turned weeks. Group hangs where I'd catch Aiden's gaze lingering, Sarah oblivious or polite. Then the texts ramped up. Late-night vents about colic cries, her pushing for more kids, him cracking under the weight. Wish we were camping. Stars clearer up there. I'd reply sparse. Breathe. You're enough. Thanksgiving hit like a blindside. Denver's snow dusted the suburbs, families gathering in turkey-scented warmth. I begged off my folks' invite, too busy with the show, and ended up at Aiden's, a ragtag crew of his coaching buddies and her artsy friends. The table groaned with sides, laughter flowing like gravy. But under it all, our secret simmered. He passed the mashed potatoes, fingers grazing mine, electric, intentional. Later, clearing plates, he cornered me in the kitchen. Stay tonight. Guest room's empty. Sarah nodded from the sink, all innocence. Yeah, roads are slick. Owen loved the extra playtime. I crashed there, the house creaking like old bones. Middle of the night, a cry pierced the dark. Owen's, sharp and insistent. I padded down the hall, finding Aiden in the nursery, rocking the bundle with exhausted tenderness. Moonlight striped his face, etching lines I hadn't noticed before. Can't sleep? He whispered. I shook my head, leaning in the doorframe. Old habits. He looked up, eyes shadowed. Eli, I fucked up. With you. With everything. The confession spilled then, low and ragged. The mountain kiss not just adrenaline, but a dam breaking. The pregnancy a panic button he'd slammed in terror of his own heart. We talked till dawn, him pacing with the baby, me perched on the rocking chair, unraveling years of half-truths. His bisexuality, buried under frat boy bravado and small-town shame. My quiet coming out, the isolation of loving from afar. I thought marrying her would fix it, he admitted, voice hollow. Make me straight enough. But it's a lie, and Owen deserves better. Tears tracked his cheeks, and I stood, pulling him into a hug, chaste but charged, brotherly yet more. Then rewrite it, I said simply. For him. For you. The climax came New Year's, fireworks cracking over the reservoir like false stars. Aiden called, voice slurred with champagne and resolve. I'm telling her. Tonight. My stomach nodded, relief warring with dread. Betrayal's echo now flipped. His to her, mine to witness. I drove over in the fresh snow, finding them in the living room, her composed, him shattered. Elijah, she said evenly, no venom. He loves you. Always has. The words gutted me, humanistic in their grace. She wasn't the enemy. Just a woman loving a man too scared to love himself. They separated amicably, counseling, co-parenting plans sketched over coffee. Aiden moved into a studio near mine, walls thin enough for late-night laughs through the vents. We didn't jump straight to romance. That would have been cheap, unearned. Instead, slow burns. Hikes in El Dorado Canyon, him teaching Owen to throw a Nerf ball while I sketched their profiles. Gallery openings where he'd stand awkward in chinos, whispering critiques that made me beam. Spring thawed the peaks, and we returned to Maroon Bells, no ropes this time, just day hike easy. At the lake's edge, Aiden knelt, not proposing but offering. A simple cord bracelet, woven from the same paracord that had saved me. For the edges we walk, he said, voice steady. I fastened it on him, our fingers lingering. The kiss that followed was sunset soft, tasting of pine and promise. No storm needed. But life, American as apple pie and heartbreak through curves. Owen's custody hearings dragged. Sarah's new boyfriend a wild card. My show toured coasts, pulling me to LA lights and hollow applause. Doubts crept. Was this real or rebound fragility? One night, post-argument over missed calls, Aiden showed up at my door, rain-soaked again. I'm all in, Eli. No more running. We made love then. Tender, fierce. The climax not of bodies but souls sinking after years adrift. Summer bloomed, and with it, a rhythm. Blended family barbecues, Aiden's coaching whistle echoing at the park, my brushes capturing their chaos in loving strokes. The betrayal? Scar tissue now strengthening. Humanistic, yes. Flawed men fumbling toward light, in a country vast enough for second acts. The alarm blared at 5 a.m., a relentless buzz slicing through the haze of half-sleep. I slapped it silent, rolling over to find Aiden's side of the bed cool. Already up, probably brewing coffee in that threadbare robe, humming off-key to whatever playlist shuffled through his AirPods. Our loft shared space now, a converted mill on the edge of Rhino, brick walls scarred with history, windows framing the Platte River's lazy bend. 6 months in, and it still felt like borrowed time. His duffel half unpacked in the corner, my easels crowding the living room like insistent guests. Owen's toys migrated weekends, plastic dinosaurs roving the hardwood like tiny conquerors. Downstairs, the scent hit me. Dark roast, sharp as the October chill we'd left behind. Aiden stood at the counter, broad back to me, pouring 2 mugs with that focused grace, the kind that made mundane sacred. Morning, artist, he murmured, sliding one over. His kiss followed, quick, coffee-tinged, the brush of stubble a wake-up jolt. I leaned into it, hands finding his waist, but he pulled back with a grin. Easy, tiger. Coach calls in 20. Pee-wee's wait for no man. I groaned, but there was no heat in it. This us was the quiet romance I'd craved, woven into the fabric of days. Work swallowed us. My days bled into nights at the studio annex, chasing deadlines for the Fractured Vistas retrospective touring from Seattle to Santa Fe. Critics raved. Elijah Hart's raw emotional topography rivals the Rockies themselves. But the praise rang hollow without him there, thumbing through catalogs, offering that blunt feedback. Too much blue. Makes it weepy. Aiden's world spun on the fields, coaching flag football for the neighborhood kids, navigating co-parenting apps with Sarah like a pro. She was dating now, some environmental lawyer with a beard and a hybrid, and their texts to me? Cordial, even warm. Bring Aiden to the zoo this weekend? Owen's dinosaur phase is peak. Humanistic détente, America style, but cracks spidered beneath the surface. Late October, a month shy of our anniversary. That mountain kiss etched in scar, the first fracture showed. Aiden's phone buzzed during dinner, takeout tie steaming on the coffee table, some indie flick flickering ignored on the TV. He glanced, face tightening, and silenced it. Work? I asked casual, but the air thickened. Nah, just old teammate, poker night invite. Lie hung unspoken. I'd seen the name, Jake, from his glory days, the one who'd crashed too many post-game parties. Eyes lingering on Aiden's form like a promise unclaimed. I let it slide, but sleep evaded that night, mind replaying reels. The wedding, his vows to Sarah. The mountain, his lips on mine like salvation. Trust was a muscle sore from disuse. Next morning, he left for practice early. Note on the fridge. Love you. Dinner out? Heart emoji, his signature. I texted back thumbs up, but dove into paint instead. Blacks and grays. A new series. Tethers? Ropes coiling into knots that mocked escape. The weekend brought Owen. A whirlwind of sticky fingers and boundless energy. We piled into the Subaru for a drive up Bear Creek. Fall foliage at its blaze, aspens whispering gold. Aiden blasted kid tunes, belting Baby Shark off-key while Owen giggled from his car seat, pudgy hands clapping. At the trailhead, we hiked easy, Aiden hoisting the boy on his shoulders, me snapping pics. Father-son silhouettes against crimson peaks, the image I'd one day frame. Look, Uncle Eli. Big rocks. Owen pointed, and I scooped him down, spinning him till squeals echoed. Picnic by the stream. PB and JS. Apples crisp as first frost. Aiden fed Owen bites, eyes soft with that fierce protectiveness. But when the kid dozed in the carrier, his hand found mine under the blanket, thumb tracing circles, intimate, grounding. This, he said, nodding at the tableau, is what I fought for. Fought. The word evoked battles. His coming out to Sarah, tear-streaked but resolute. The family court's gavel, granting shared custody without the bloodbath we'd feared. Worth it? I asked, voice light but probing. He squeezed. Earnest. Every damn day. Back home, the idol cracked. Aiden's phone lit up again. Jake. Persistent. Bro, games at 8. Beers on me. Miss your ugly mug. He typed quick. Pass, family night, but the delete then send dance didn't escape me. Invite him over sometime, I said, feigning nonchalance, rinsing plates. Expand the circle. Aiden paused, sponge mid-swipe. Jake's. Complicated. Old habits. Habits. The ghost of frat boy flings. By curiosities he'd confessed in whispers. Post-love-making confessions that bonded us deeper. Or so doubt. Doubt festered. Midweek. My show's opening in Seattle loomed. Fly out Friday. 3 days schmoozing collectors in rain-slick galleries. Aiden saw me packing, face falling. Take me with? Owen's at Sarah's. Tempting themes of us wandering Pike Place, stealing kisses in coffee fog. But reality bit. His schedule ironclad, my wallet thinner than his patience. Next time, I promised, zipping the suitcase. He nodded, but pulled me down to the bed, love-making urgent. Hands mapping familiar terrain, breaths mingling in pleas of stay, mine. After tangled sheets he murmured, hurry back. Place feels empty without you. Seattle was a blur. Velvet ropes, champagne flutes, accolades that tasted like ash. My phone stayed glued. Texts from him. Owen scored a TD today. Miss you. Pics of practice drills, his grin mud-streaked. But Friday night, a ping at midnight my time. Jake's Insta story geotagged Denver Dive Bar. Aiden in frame, laughing, arms slung over Jake's shoulder, shots lined up like accusations. Heart stuttered. Family night, my ass. I scrolled. More stories. Timestamp 10 p.m. Aiden's cap backward. That easy charm dialed up. Rage simmered through the reception. Small talk a mask. By hotel bar close, I dialed voicemail. Text. Enjoying the game? Petty but poison. His reply dawned with hangover. Shit. Eli. It was last minute. Harmless. Harmless. Like the mountain kiss? The wedding lie? I fired back. Trust is a tether. Aiden. Don't cut it. Radio silence till wheels down Sunday. Denver's lights winking welcome and warning. He met me at baggage, eyes bloodshot, flowers wilting in his fist. Wildflowers from our trail. Symbolic. I'm sorry, he blurted, pulling me into a hug that crushed air from lungs. Jake cornered me after practice. Needed to blow off steam. Nothing happened. In the car, floodgates opened. His stress. Owen's fever scaring him shitless. Sarah pushing for therapy copays he couldn't swing. The bye whispers from old teammates stirring old shames. I run to them when it piles up. Stupid reflex. But you're home, Eli. Always. Forgiveness wasn't clean. It scabbed. We talked it out over takeout, boundaries sketched. Poker nights okay, but with invites extended, me included. No more ghosts, he vowed, hand over heart. I believed him, mostly. Romance rekindled in small flames. Surprise sketches of Owen as a mini Aiden, left on his dash. Him cooking my mom's Ohio chili, imperfect but earnest. November deepened, snow dusting the Mill District like powdered sugar. My retrospective close strong, sales funding a down payment dream, stability we joked about. Aiden's team won playoffs, tiny helmets clashing under floodlights, him whooping from sidelines like a kid. Post-game, family huddle. Sarah, her beau, us cheers mingling, Owen's high-five bridging divides. But climax brewed in the quiet. A letter from Aiden's dad, postmarked Vegas. Yellowed envelope, script shaky. Heard about the divorce. Disgrace. Come home, son. Real men fix their messes. Aiden read it by the river walk, crumpling it into the current. Face stone, but eyes storms. He called once after Owen. Said I'd burn in hell. The betrayal layered, familial now, cutting deeper than ours. I held him as sobs racked. The man who'd pulled me from edges now fraying his own. We drove to Golden that weekend. Unannounced, confrontation or closure, I wasn't sure. His mom's house, chemo gaunt but glowing, welcomed us with pie and tears. Dad wasn't there, Vegas life endless. He's lost, she said, patting Aiden's hand. But you're found. Human moment, pie crust flaking like old skins shed. Back in Denver, Aiden burned the letter's remnants in our fireplace. Ashes swirling up the flue like released regrets. That night, lovemaking was reclamation. Slow, reverent, bodies affirming what words couldn't. Dawn found us planning. Therapy for him, family trips for Owen, a future sketched not in haste but hope. Winter solstice neared, lights twinkling Denver's skyline. We strung our own. Fairy strands across beams, Owen's all lighting faces. No grand gestures, just us. Flawed, fumbling, fiercely in love. The tension, transmuted to strength. The mountain's lesson etched eternal. December's grip tightened, turning Boulder Pass into a white-knuckle gauntlet. Tires chaining up, wipers battling flurries that blurred the world to ghost. We'd planned the trip as reset. Aiden, me, Owen bundled like a burrito in the back. Sarah waving from her porch with a thermos of cocoa. Call when you're there, she'd said, her beau's arm casual around her waist. No awkwardness, just the evolved normalcy of shared histories. Co-parenting 2.0, American ingenuity in action. The cabin was a A-frame relic off Netherland, our prequel spot from college winters, when we'd snowboard till dark, crashing with microwave burritos and tales of conquests real and imagined. Now it creaked under fresh powder, chimney puffing like a dragon's sigh. Owen's first real snow. Eyes wide as saucers, mittens flailing snow angels that looked more like abstract art. Aiden knelt beside him, building a fort lopsided but epic, laughter booming off pines. I snapped it. Father and son, cheeks ruddy, the frame I'd title Sanctuary. Inside, fire crackled, mulled wine steaming mugs. Owen conked out early, tucked in the loft with a mobile of wooden planes spinning lazy. Aiden and I sprawled on the rug, backs to the hearth, shadows dancing long. Remember the blizzard? He murmured, head on my shoulder. We got snowed in, played cards till our fingers froze. You accused me of cheating. Nearly came to blows over hearts. I chuckled, fingers tracing his knuckles. You did cheat. Distracted me with that grin. His eyes met mine, warm as the flames. Still do. The romance swelled then, soft, unhurried. His hands slid under my sweater, palm hot against skin, pulling me down to the woven wool. Kisses deepened, tasting of spice and certainty. Bodies aligning like puzzle pieces worn smooth by time. No rush, no edges. Just the slow unravel of barriers, breaths sinking to the wind's howl outside. Afterward, tangled and sated, he whispered confessions. Dreams of us adopting someday. Owen calling him dad in a house we'd build. Porch swing, art studio annex. Real life, Eli. Not the half measures. But conflict shadowed even idols. New Year's Eve dawned brittle. Phone buzzing, Aiden awake at dawn. Sarah's text. Owen's ear infection flared. Doc says antibiotics, but he's asking for you. Panic flashed. We packed hasty, chains rattling down the pass. Owen's fever a low whine from the seat. Our wait in Boulder was eternal. Flu season swell, holiday stragglers coughing in vinyl chairs. Aiden paced, holding our boy's hand, murmuring nonsense rhymes till the doc called. Pink eye, not dire. Prescription filled. Home by midnight with fireworks popping distant. The scare lingered, fraying nerves. Back in the mill, unpacking snow gear, Aiden snapped. First time, sharp as a slap. Why didn't we stay closer? What if it was worse? Guilt twisted. I'd pushed the cabin, nostalgic fool. We can't bubble wrap him, I said, voice even. He's tough, like his dad. But the barb landed, his eyes hardened. Easy for you to say. You're not the bio one. Bio. The word cleaved, reminding the biology that bound him to Sarah, the legal threads tying Owen to us both but not equally. Silence stretched days, polite, poisonous. He crashed at the gym postwork, me burying in tethers revisions, ropes now knotted with thorns. Owen sensed it, clingy weekends, high fives hesitant. Culmination brewed mid-January. Gallery mixer for my West Coast leg, black tie schmooze at the DAM. Aiden showed, crisp in borrowed suit, arm possessive around my waist amid whispers of the muse. But later, tipsy on Pinot, Jake cornered us, bearded, boisterous, clapping Aiden's back too hard. Heard you're playing for the other team now, bro, respect. Tone jovial but laced old envy? Aiden stiffened, laugh forced. Yeah, well, life's a remix. I pulled away, champagne souring. In the coat check, confrontation. He knows. Aiden sighed, rubbing temples. Couple months. Swore discretion. Betrayal redux. Secrets shared with ghosts, not me. Who else? Your whole playbook. Paranoia spilled. Ugly. He grabbed my arms, eyes fierce. No. Just Jake, he pushed, I shut it down. Eli, you're it. The rest? Noise. But doubt gnawed, a rat in the walls. The breaking point hit Valentine's. Ironic. Hallmark bullshit amplified. I'd planned low-key. Sketch session, his fave Italian joint. But Owen's school play loomed. His directorial debut as Lion in Wizard of Oz. And scheduling clashed. Sarah texted. Can you cover? Date night's mine. Aiden deferred, canceling our night. Family first, he said. Apologetic kiss on forehead. I nodded, but inside, eviscerated. Alone in the loft, I cracked the bourbon. His stash downs shots to numb the echo. Not the bio one. Midnight found me at his door, buzzed and bold. He answered in sweats, Owen asleep behind. Eli? What's? I pushed in, words tumbling. I can't be the side quest. The artist boyfriend who sketches your perfect dad life. If it's half in, walk. Tears hot, his face crumpling. God no. You're the main fucking story. He pulled me to the couch. Owen's crayons scattered like shrapnel. Confession poured. His fear, not of me but failing them both. Therapy's digging up shit, dad's abandonment, the bi shame. Makes me pull away when it's closest. We cried then, raw him admitting Jake flirts were ego bomb, old patterns. Me voicing the mountain's ghost. The kiss that promised but his life delivered elsewhere. Dawn broke with Owen's patting and sleepy. Uncle Eli sleepover? We laughed. Fractured but fusing. Pancakes followed. Burnt edges. Syrup smiles. Boundaries redrawn. Therapy together. Jake on ice. Dates non-negotiable. Spring equinox brought thaw literal. Denver's crocuses pushing through melt. My tour wrapped triumphant. Funds seeding a joint account. Future fund, we dubbed it. Aiden's team took state. Owen's trophy a plastic lion roaring pride. We hiked Lookout Mountain. Owen on Aiden's back. Me trailing with pack. Echoes of our first trip, but layered now with love's weight. Climax crested Memorial Day. Family picnic at Washington Park. Sarah's crew mingling hours. Jake showed, invited, tested, behaving, eyes respectful. But as dusk fell, Aiden pulled me aside by the lake, boats bobbing lazy. Marry me, he said, no knee, just eyes steady as granite. Ring simple, silver band etched with peaks. Not for show, for us. Tears pricked. I nodded, yes, a whisper. Kisses sealed it, fireworks not needed, the real burst in our chests. Betrayal's embers? Smoldered to lessons, humanistic forge. America stretched before. Weddings blended, lives interlaced. Love not conquest but constant climb. Summer unfurled lazy over the front range. Monsoon puffs greening the plains, thunderstorms rumbling like distant applause. Our engagement leaked slow, first to Owen, who shrieked, "Uncle Eli's my other dad," and drew crayon rings lopsided. Then Sarah, who hugged me fierce over wine. "He lights up for you. Deserves that." Her beau toasted at a backyard bash. Mason jars clinking under string lights. Blended tribe, scars shared but shining. Wedding planning was chaos comedic. Venue hunt yielding a mesa overlook near lions. Peaks framing vows like nature's altar. Aiden wanted simple. Jeans, boots, wildflowers. I pushed for canvases as backdrops. Abstracts of our edges painted bold. Owen ring-bearer in tiny vest. Practicing walks with pillow prop till he beamed. Invite sparse. His mom, her folks, a handful of unshakable friends. No Jake, boundaries held. My Ohio parents? RSVP no. Prayers, son, but can't condone. The old wound twinging, but Aiden's hand in mine stanched it. "Their loss," he growled, kissing knuckles. "We've got family." July heat peaked, and so did doubts, subtle sieges. A gallery scout from NYC dangled solo show. Big Apple, heart. Your moment. Tempting, the siren call of coasts. But uprooting? Owen's school. Aiden's coaching roots. Tendrils deep. Nights. I'd pace the loft. Sketches frantic. Cityscapes clashing mountains. Symbol of pull. Aiden noticed, pulling me to bed. "Go if it calls. I'll hold the fort." Selfless. But his eyes shadowed, fear of distance echoing mine from the mountain. The storm broke sweltering eve before my flight. Recon trip. 3 days scouting lofts. We argued low. Owen Abed. Me accusing flightiness, him countering abandonment. "You're chasing ghosts again," he snapped, voice cracking. Like I did with Sarah. Truth stung. The betrayal cycle spinning. I stormed to the studio annex, brushes slashing fury. Reds bleeding black, a diptych of fractures. Dawn found him there, coffee in hand, studying silent. "Beautiful," he whispered. "Hurts like hell." We talked then, raw as open veins. My fear of being the artist who got away. His of loving too loose, losing grip. Reconciliation was firelit. Picnic under stars, Owen roasting marshmallows gooey. Aiden's words. "We're roped together now. No slips." Laughter followed, plans pivoting. NYC show, but Boulder base, commute hybrid. Love's logistics. Flight lifted lighter. Manhattan's hum electric but ephemeral. Galleries buzzed. Contracts signed. But home pulled stronger. Texts from Aiden. "Owen drew our wedding. You're the king." Pics of forts built. Forts symbolizing us. August wove ceremony. Small gathering atop the mesa. Wind whispering aspens gold. Owen scattered petals wild. Giggling chase. Sarah read a poem, hers, on letting go with grace. Tears collective. Vows ours. Aiden's steady rumble. "I pull you from edges. You ground my storms." Mine whispered fierce. "From mountains to mundane, you're my vista." Rings exchanged, his etched peaks. Mine a brushstroke swirl. Sealed with kiss salt-tanged. Cheers rising like birds. Honeymoon. Staycation peak bagging. Pike's Peak ascent. Owen with Sarah for glamping. We summit dawn pink. Bodies spent but souls soaring. No ropes, just hands clasped over voids. Love-making in alpine meadows. Grass tickling skin. The romance poetic, primal. "Forever's a trail," he murmured post, head on chest. "We'll hike it crooked." Fall returned. Leaves turning like pages. NYC show debuted raves. Heart's humanism. Love's rugged terrain. But I jetted home weekly, loft our north. Owen started kindergarten. Aiden's cheers at drop-off's teary pride. Challenges lapped. My folks' silence, a letter finally. Working on it, son. Crack in ice. Aiden's ex-teammate whispers, but he shut them firm, therapy armor gleaming. Climax crested Thanksgiving. Full table. Sarah's crew, his mom frail but feisty, Owen's tales dominating. Midway doorbell, my parents, suitcases tentative. Drove straight through, Dad mumbled. Mom's hug bone-tight. Awkward toasts. Owen's charm bridging. Human arc. Forgiveness not fireworks but embers warm. Aiden's hand under table anchor. Years blurred montage. Owen's growth spurts. Aiden's rec league championship. My studio expanding to teach. Kids painting edges. Finding centers. Betrayals. Faded photographs. Lessons inked. Conflict forges. Romance roots. Drama yields to depth. One October Eve, decade post-mountain, we camped maroon bells. Owen teen now, guitar strumming fireside. Stars wheeled, and Aiden pulled me aside, ridge shadowed. That moment shifted everything, he said, echoing our hook. Saved us. Kiss followed, enduring, dramatic no more, but deeply felt. In America's vast heart, our story. Not fairy tale, but human him loved, lived, lasting.